Hey guys, it's Minno's Minute here. How's it going? I'm coming to you with a little bit of a long overdue video. I've seen some stuff here and there on YouTube and a lot of infographics from people, but I've never seen like a full length, maybe a couple. I'm not going to say never. I personally haven't seen a full length video that goes by each relic, by class, and explains the top champions for each of those relics broken down into one place. So what I'm going to do today is go through every single relic. I'm going to go class by class, and I'm going to tell you my opinion on what I think is the best champion to go with each of those relics. You can do whatever you want to do, but I kind of break it down based on the relic's abilities, what they're best used for, and how you can utilize your relics to the best of their abilities to get the most out of your champions. Some champions really become god tier once you add a relic to them. It completely changes some kits. It's made some champions totally relevant that didn't used to be relevant, and it's just a great way to add more utility, more power to the champions that you have, and it can make a lot of different. All relics can make you have an extended combo, and it can save you, especially if you're a battlegrounds player, if you're competitive, or if you're in war. If you need to get any type of fight done quickly, or if you're just stuck in the corner, or if the opponent has 3 bars of power and you're trying to finish off that fight, a relic just comes in completely clutch. I've talked about it in my past videos, I've talked about it in my live streams. I love relics, and we're just going to do a deep dive, and hopefully this allows you to utilize your relics more, and it's kind of just an overall guide, a beginner's guide to relics. I am missing one 6-star relic, and that is the Captain America relic. It keeps evading me. I want it so badly. Whenever there's any selectors relics, I always go for those as deals. I'm such a relic chaser. I have some of my relics at SIG 200, as you'll see in this video. So yeah, let's get right into it, man. We are going to start by not leveling up relics, no thank you. We are going to start with the Science class. Again, I don't have that Captain America, so we're going to have to look at the 5-star for that one. But starting off with the Science class, in order of best to worst as far as the relics, I would go Ant-Man. Well, arguably Spider-Man 2099 is the best Science relic, only because he has the most across-the-board utility. But then I would say, as far as synergizing with the champions that make it good, Ant-Man's the best. So I would go Ant-Man, Spider-Man, Hulk, and then Captain America. As far as what's the best to worst in the Science class. Now, looking at Ant-Man relic, this relic, in all honesty, it was designed for Spider-Ham. That's why this relic came out. Spider-Ham was losing some relevancy in the game, and when this relic came out, Spider-Ham became a complete god. I mean, he was really good before, but with this relic, he is just outstanding. If we look at this innate ability here, the last hit inflicts a Power Sting debuff for 16 seconds. An opponent with Power Sting increases your direct damage. So an opponent with a Power Sting takes 3,700 direct damage if they activate a special attack. So it gives another Power Sting, which is good. That part of the relic, whatever. It's the awakened ability here. When a Power Sting debuff deals damage to the opponent, gain the following effects for the rest of the fight, stacking up to 6 times. So, every time you land that Power Sting, you're getting this boost of attack rating, and while that debuff is active, they're also going to take an additional direct damage burst on each Power Sting. So this is a 10-second cooldown, but it increases attack. And then, one of the most god tier things of this relic is actually the runes here. So this is what you want to have set up. You want to put this relic on Spider-Ham. End of story. It doesn't really it's good for some other, Power Stingy type of champions, but really it's meant for Spider-Ham, and that is what you want to do. Here on this rune, it's inflicting a Power Sting debuff and inflicts a taunt passive, lowering attack rating by 11.5, 27 seconds for 16 seconds. Cooldown 16 seconds. So that taunt passive is so broken for Spider-Ham. Like, you place a taunt, they throw specials, they get power stung. That's what makes the champion good. You always want to have this rune set up, and then this one just increases the potency of power sting, and this one increases the duration. So as you can see, the whole point of Spider-Ham's kit is to increase duration of power stings, and to get those big bursts of power stings off. All those runes, and this relic helps out so much. If you don't have the 6-star, you have the 5-star, make sure to at least add this one Spite Stinger. It's really, really good. And yeah, that is the Ant-Man relic. Can't tell you enough good things about it. Put it on your Spider-Ham, make your Spider-Ham a goat. So that's that one. Going to the Hulk relic, this one is good for all types of science tanks and tanks that regen. So really it synergizes best with things like people like Immortal Hulk and your Overseer, and people like She-Hulk, Titania, regular Hulk, Deathless She-Hulk. You're going to want to put this relic right on Deathless She-Hulk now that she's out. But I have mine because I don't have any of those champions ranked up, and my actual OG Hulk has been evading me. It's one of 3 7-stars in the entire base pool that I don't have yet. I have mine on Count Nefaria, because Count Nefaria has a regen, so he has a regeneration effect, so I get a boost by that. With this rune here, physical resistance down, that's always good. You want to have physical resistance down because it, like, any champion benefits from that. And this is physical resistance up. Count Nefaria is a massive tank when it comes to offensive play. He deals a lot of damage, but he also can take a large hit. He has that regen under the SP1. This one is good. So whenever you have a stun effect, this is not benefiting my Nefaria whatsoever. So I would put this on the champion that stuns. Again, I am utilizing this because Nefaria is a rank 3 Sig 200 on my account. It's not who I'd recommend for it, so kind of ignore that. I'd put this on someone that has a stun effect. So, you know, your Hulks, yeah, OG Hulk has a great stun effect on his SP1, and then you get that extra physical resistance. And if they're tagged as defensive tank, which Hulk, Overseer, all those guys are, they increase the potency of ability by 100%. So it's really good. The first hit inflicts a physical vulnerability debuff, lowering physical resistance by negative 257. You have Hulk on here. You get all those Furies up. Boom. It's game over. Like, Hulk puts those physical resistant debuffs on there. I mean, it's a great relic for Hulk. Undoubtedly amazing. And yeah, you definitely want it awakened if you're putting on Hulk. Disclaimer. You want this relic awakened for Hulk. And for any of the other ones too. So yeah, defensive tank, make sure they have that tag. Like I said, your big science tanks. Moving on to Spider-Man 2099. Now this relic is really good for any of the Spider-Men that are science. So your Spider-Punk, great champion. It's best on Silk. It's very good on Spider-Man OG. If you're into playing Spider-Man OG, I don't. I have it on my 7-star Silk. I also have this relic on my 7-star Spider-Punk. And for both of these champions, the first hit inflicts 110.05 physical vulnerability debuff for 16 seconds. Physical vulnerability effects gain 2.7% potency for each Wither, Taunt, or Enervate on the opponent. Max stacks 5. Well, all the Spider-Man people do that, especially Spider-Man OG. This is such a good relic for your Spider-Man 2099 as well. So all these guys just lean into the stats on this relic, making them that much stronger. And on top of that, this relic actually does a cool thing. So you can do this. I'm actually going to do that right now. Gain immunity to the next precision from Dexterity Mastery and inflict a 4.25 Wither passive for 20 seconds, max stack. So again, you get the Wither passive, and then guess what? It ties into the signature ability. So you get that extra physical vulnerability by dexting and then being immune to that dex. You see how it's all working together? Also, it allows people like Spider-Man to take champions Like, for example, would have been so good back in the day when Dumamo was such a defensive god. Remember how he activates off your dexterity buff and you take the degen damage? Well, guess what? That doesn't happen in this because you're immune to the dexterity. So you don't get that precision passive. Instead, you get the benefits here. You get more runes here for physical vulnerability potency up, and then ability power rate down, or taunt and enervate duration up. That's when you want to use for Spider-Man OG. But I do this one, ability power rate down, because I have it on Silk, and I'm trying to build up those combos quickly. Again, very good relic, gets more damage down. Also, Silk does more damage based on her debuffs, and she already places this physical vulnerability debuffs with every hit. So you stack those up, you get that bigger burst damage, you get that bigger fury when you're activating your specials. It's goated with the sauce, so to speak. So yeah, definitely rank up. And also, Spider-Man 2099 is the highest prestige relic, so if you're going to rank up relics for prestige, Sig 200 him, taking rank 3, he boosts your prestige the most of any other relic in the game. We're going to put in our 5-star here. So, Captain America, he's all about blocking. He gives you block proficiency. So the last hit grants an 18-second bulwark passive, increasing block proficiency by 320. This is the 5-star, so it's not as good, but it's really good. Blocking consecutive attacks grants a 7-second avenge passive, costing each champion attack to deal up to 522 burst physical damage, scaling based on block on attack rating. Defensive guard champions deal up to 800, so it's an additional. So it's really good if you're blocking consecutive attacks over and over. Your block proficiency goes up, and and then it causes your champion attack to deal a burst. So you want to keep blocking. People like this is actually really good for Count Nefaria. I had this relic on Count Nefaria for a while, but I wanted that 6-star boost, for prestige reasons. But yeah, I would put this relic on Count Nefaria. It's really, really good on your Mr. Negative. That's who I have it on right now, because you're blocking constantly. So any champion that requires a lot of block, this one, inflicting an exhaustion debuff on the opponent, grants an 8-second bulwark passive, increasing block proficiency again, or blocking in-type attacks, grants a kinetic resistance, and then, deals burst damage. So there's a lot of cool things you can do here. If you're doing a lot of blocking and you want to do that burst damage, it would be good for someone like Luke Cage. He can kind of go on whoever you want to just increase that block proficiency on. OG, Cap Infinity War would be really good. He deals burst damage. This relic would synergize well with him. That kind of champion. Again, Mr. Negative, Nefaria. Really, really good relic. I'm trying to think of any other champions that would really benefit here. We can go look at the science class real quick. Oops. The Captain America actually benefits the photon quite a bit. Increases that block duration. It would be good on leader. That's probably about it. Yeah, I would say leader, photon, Captain America, Infinity War, Nefaria, Mr. Negative. That's a decent amount. Again, that is I would say the least impressive relic out of the science class. All right, moving on to not make this super, super long. We're gonna go to the skill class. So, skill class, amazing relic selection. Besides Valkyrie doesn't have too many uses yet, but this overall, the skill class in relics is amazing. I've talked a lot about the Black Widow, so we're going to keep it short, but this is the best relic in the game, in my opinion, but that's just because I like these type of champions. Arguably the best relic is the Thor relic, but we'll get there in a minute. So the Black Widow relic has some crazy utility to it. If you're pairing it with Black Cat or Black Widow Deadly Origins, it is so, so good. It makes both those champions just increase their godliness by so much, and yeah, highly recommend it. Definitely want to have your runes in order here. You can go check out my Black Widow video previously to get all the details on this relic. But yeah, Black Widow Deadly Origins, Black Cat, and it's really good for Ronin as well. So yeah, any champions that fail abilities get huge attack bonuses. So Ronin, Black Widow, Black Deadly Origins. This one is really good for anyone who's guaranteed crits. So you're looking at your Bullseye, you're looking at your Hit Monkey, anyone that does those crazy crits. I have it on my Gwenpool just because it's the best option. The last hit grants a cruelty buff, increasing critical damage rating by 99.99 over 10 seconds. That's really good for anyone that you want to crit. I really like stacking it with Gwenpool because her ult, does the armor break, and then you're doing high crit. And then here on the Awaken, guaranteed critical hits granted plus 10 flat critical damage rating on critical hits for the rest of the fight. So that's really good, again, for people like Bullseye or anyone that guarantees crit. Really good for Hit Monkey now since he just came out as 7-star. And here's more stats that help you boost that. I like Special 2 Finisher, Burst Physical Damage, guaranteed critical hits, deal Burst, and then, yeah, again, critical hits, inflict a physical vulnerability passive. Very good. The next best relic is this one, Winter Soldier Relic. This relic is really just good for one champion in this game, and that's Kate Bishop. Put your Winter Soldier Relic on your Kate Bishop. It's so good because it increases the amount of damage you get from Cold Snap, increases duration of Cold Snap, and has this rune right here that the next heavy attack refreshes one Cold Snap debuff on the opponent. So you want to be refreshing your Cold Snap, you just get them and you heavy attack them. As long as you have this relic, you refresh that. It's not part of Kate's kit, just makes her that much better, and then you can increase the potency here. And then block penetration, this is really good for Kate as well because you can pause the Cold Snap by hitting into the block, but then you're doing more damage. It's amazing. And they're suffering for Cold Snap, so like it literally synergizes perfectly with Kate. Use it on Kate. Valkyrie, use this relic on Valkyrie, man. If you have Valkyrie rigged up, it's meant for Valkyrie. It's for people that hit into the block, but who else you can use it on? Well, your boy Masakre. He hits into the block. That's how he does more damage. So strikes into the block, gains a 6-second Fury passive. If you have this in Masakre and you're striking into the block, you're going to do more damage. You're going to have a crazy special too. So champions hit into the block. I wish this relic was cosmic for your boy Hulkling, but it's not. So, and then you just get more. You get more stats for hitting into the block. So yeah, this is really designed for your Valkyrie and your Masakre, and hopefully other champions come out where you have to do some block hitting mechanics. So that is the skill class. We are taking a long time here, but that's okay. Moving on to the mutant class, we have 4 relics here: Gambit, Mr. Sinister, Wolverine, and Storm. Now these 4 relics, the mutant class, there's a ton of really good champions in the mutant class, and so these get utilized all the time. Again, I'm only talking about the 6 stars. Please utilize all your relics. You have all the way down to 3-star, all the way down to 3-star relics. So make sure that you're using all of them, utilizing them. You can get pretty much your whole roster on with relics once you have them all. It's definitely something you should do. So Gambit relic I have here. This relic is just really good for. It's a tank relic technically. So ideally, you should have this on your Onslaught. You can have this on any of your large health pool mutants. So if we go back to mutants here, you have it on your Onslaught. You could technically put it on your Domino, but I'd recommend Sinister for that one. Dust would benefit from it. I don't know. Sunspot benefits from it. You get the extra physical resistance. He's not very tanky. Apocalypse would be good for it. But let's go back and discuss more of the details of that relic real quick, just to, because the runes are what make this good. Special attacks that heal physical damage gain up to 2,400 critical rating. So yeah, that's why I have this on Deadpool, because you gain a burst. Also, it asking you to put it on Nightcrawler because of the bleed, but also because I have bleed on Deadpool. I'm getting this extra when an instant bleed fails to trigger due to a chance. Inflict indefinite 9.6% bleed vulnerability passive. So if you're getting ability failed, physical resistance up, and then bleed potency down. Again, this is a tank relic, so I don't know. It's a very, very good relic, but it's a tank relic. So, you know, put it on your mutant tanks. Mr. Sinister, arguably one of the better relics in the game. So the whole thing with this relic, basically you can ignore everything in his kit, except that when you activate the relic, your champion, your attacker champion, will gain a bleed debuff on you. That bleed debuff will not do any damage, but it'll do two things. It'll activate your willpower. Your willpower will heal you. It'll also work with the relic, and when a bleed debuff is on this champion, it allows you to do crazy damage during your specials. So, when bled or immune to bleed, gain a non-stacking 44.83 cruelty passive. Crazy. Again, a huge attack bonus while bleeding. And here, bleed potency down for the opponent. Striker debuff has an independent 12% chance to trigger again. So, I mean, your bleed just has a chance to trigger again. That's crazy. It's so good. That chance increases as you put SIGs into this relic, so it's good when you SIG it up, so you can just cycle. This relic wants to go on your Mr. Sinister. It wants to go on your Domino. It wants to go, it could go on your Deadpool. It is a necessity for Omega Red if you're running Omega Red, because you have your bleed debuffing, not taking damage, you're getting spores, it's doing more damage, it's so broken, it's resetting, you don't have to put your degeneration up, you're just doing so much, like, on Omega Red, this relic is a must-have. It gets you where you need to go without even having suicide masteries. So that's amazing, but anyone you want to increase that damage, it's really good for Sunspot, because you increase your critical damage, you increase your attack rating, throwing massive special 2s. Same with Domino. It's just amazing. It's an amazing relic overall. It's good for most of the mutant champions, but it's really good for Sinister. It causes Sinister to heal, and yeah, and also it allows him striker debuff. Yeah, never mind. But yeah, good relic is all I'm saying. So. Wolverine relic, it's good for your Wolverines. It's good for your healing mutants. So if you have an OG Deadpool and you like to play OG Deadpool, use it. It has here, while the champion has regeneration chest, increased bleed effect. So it's good. I have it on my Weapon X, rank 3 Weapon X. If you have an OG Wolverine, he's really good with this relic. This relic has made him a lot better. If you put him, get him going with a Horseman, he's an AQ God, does the bleed damage, is regenerating. This rank, when inflicted with a heal block debuff, gain a 21% chance to purify the effect and gain a fury instead. So if you're getting heal blocked and you're a regen person, not only can you purify that so you can keep regenning, but you get an additional attack. I mean, regen duration up, broken, regen rate up. So on Weapon X, this is really good. He benefits a huge amount from this relic. Weapon X was already a good champion. He's a trophy champion. You want trophy champions to be good. There's no good trophy champions. Weapon X is the best, I would say. Arguably, Jessica Jones is really good too. But this just makes him that much better. He's getting all these other things. Gain a rejuvenate buff, increasing regeneration rate. So you're just staying alive and doing more bleed damage. It's good. You get that vicious passive with the awakened ability, which gets you more, a lot more percentage on your damage debuffs. You get this up to 6200. I mean, you have 3 stacks of that, you're doing 30% more damage. That's so broken. So yeah, definitely put your Wolverine on your bleeding regeneration people. This Storm Relic, moving on to the last of the Mutant Relics, is really good for any champion that has prowess. And you know the Mutant class, they love their prowess. So your Storms, like both of your Storms, your Emma Frost, your Bishop, I have him on Bishop because, you know, that's my best rank 3 mutant with prowess. You can do this with Sunspot with his prowess mechanic. You got a Rampage buff, increasing attack rating while unblockable. So again, your champions with prowess and unblockable is where this relic shines. This relic is really designed for Who's this guy? Bishop. Oh my god, I'm trolling. Each time the champion lands a hit while unblockable, this awakened ability, gain the following effects for the rest of the fight, max 10 hits, plus 31 prowess effect potency. That is so good. This relic makes Bishop that much more god tier because you have unblockable. His hit, like the next unblockable hit, grants Rampage passive, increasing attack rating while unblockable. Again, I want to bring attention to one other key component to this specific relic. If you are someone who does the APOC Horseman synergy with your mutants, and your mutants have prowess, then you want this relic on them. Even if they don't have prowess, even if they're not unblockable as their base kit. Because guess what the Horseman synergy does to mutants? It gives them an unblockable charge that lasts a while, and you're gaining all of these wonderful effects. It's a good relic, especially if you're running Horseman. If you're not doing Horseman and you just want just straight up power, put it on your Bishop. A lot of people have Bishop rank 3. That's the best in my opinion. Or you can put it on your OG Storm. You can put it on your Storm Pyramid X. Also fantastic options. Anyone that goes unblockable. Alright, moving on to the Cosmic class, the goated class of relics. It's the goated class of the champions. It's goated class of relics. All around, incredible. Starting off with Gamora relic. This relic is second best, maybe best in like the game, and also the Cosmic class. Final hit grants a I don't even know how to say that word, stoicism buff, increasing the ability accuracy of other buffs. So obviously really good for Gamora, but this buff makes Hyperion a god because he just keeps getting buffs and you're getting ability accuracy increase on those buffs, so they're not going to be failed. And then also, whenever a Fury or Cruelty buff fails due to chance, gain 1% increased Fury and Cruelty, Gamora, Hyperion, and King Groot benefit also triggers on failure due to ability accuracy, but increases ability accuracy by 10% instead. Personal Fury charges count for this ability, so like, it's easy to cancel out Hyperion's stuff, easy to cancel out Gamora's stuff. This just makes them that much better, but the runes are what make it really good. Whenever one or more Fury or Cruelty buffs trigger, 9.6% chance to gain a single 16.68% expertise buff, increasing the potency of the buffs you just gained. What? That's so good, especially for Hyperion and Gamora and any other champion that gains a lot of buffs. So like, you know, Hulkling, Venom, but I mean, you're not going to want to use Relic on Venom because there's a Venom Relic that makes him also extremely good. He was a little bit irrelevant before this Relic. He is goated with the Relic. So yeah, this is really a Hyperion Relic and nothing more. Or Hulkling. Hulkling, Hyperion. Fury, Cruelty buff duration up. Amazing. And then the potency of those buffs up. I mean, you put this on your Hyperion. Your Hyperion's goated. My Hyperion's rank 3. It's amazing. The Thor Relic is incredible. It has aptitude buff that increases the potency of all buffs. It has a crazy awaken ability that increase. It makes the aptitude passive, increasing the potency of everything. You have Ragnar's Vigor, gaining a Fury buff or non-stacking Vigor passive, increasing all damage. I'll explain why the Vigor is really good. Fury potency up, Precision potency up. So this rune right here is a necessity for your Adam Warlock. This relic is good for Adam Warlock. It's good for your Medusa. It's good for Scream. It's good for Gamora and Hyperion if you want to. It's good for it's pretty good for Serpent. It's good for Hulkling. It's good for all those Cosmic champions that you're going to be using. Any Cosmic champion with buff, specifically Fury. It is the best relic for Cosmic Ghost Rider because he has a natural aptitude in his kit, and this relic synergizes with aptitude and precision and armor up and Fury. All of those things are with Cosmic Ghost Rider. So this is a must-have on Cosmic Ghost Rider. If you use him, Cosmic Ghost Rider is GOAT. This just makes him so much better. So those are all the champions to use that. Going on to the Venom Relic. This relic increases Venom makes Scream better. Those two champions, Carnage, any of the symbiotes. I mean, you just look at this right here. For each unique buff on the champion, inflict an indefinite bleed vulnerability passive. The last hit inflicts a bleed vulnerability passive, increasing the potency of future bleed effects by 16 plus 16% for 16 seconds. That's huge. Your SP1s with Venom, they just become so much better with this relic. You want to have the relic awakened, higher sig the better, because, you know, it increases by a good percentage, and it just makes your bleeds do way more damage, and it's kind of what makes him that much better of a champion. You have the Ravenous Strike here, you have the bleed potency up, and you have Fury, Precision, Cruelty potency up. These are all things that Venom has. This relic is just for Venom. That's what you want to use it for. So good. So yeah, the Cosmic class and relics, incredible. And again, that Thor relic. Oh, hey, wait, I didn't even go over Miss Marvel. I'm an idiot. Sorry about that. Miss Marvel relic is a great relic. It's all about True Strike. So Cersei and Nova, this relic was designed for those two champions. A lot of people like Cersei. I like Nova. I have them. I have Cersei at rank 2. I have Nova at rank 3. This relic should go on your Nova and Cersei. I have it on my Serpent just because I'm using it right now in my BG's deck, but normally it would be on my Nova. My Serpent gains some stuff from this, but not really. You really want to have it on people with True Strike, and it specifically buffs Nova and Cersei and gives them that extra boost. Makes both those champions that much better if you like using them. When an opponent's auto block or evade fails due to other reason other than chance, they're dealt with burst. This is why I put it on Serpent. Its SP1 fails evade. This relic is what you want on Serpent if you're going to use a relic on Serpent. Critical damage up, true damage duration up, or if you're running Cersei or Nova, True Strike duration up. Even, I think, I'm not entirely sure. No, that's a fear passive, so yeah, never mind. But yeah, this Marvel, it's for your Serpent, it's for your Nova, it's for your Cersei, or really any other Cosmic that, you know, might have True Strike. I can't think of it off the top of my head, because those are the three you should focus on. It's the worst Cosmic relic. Let's put it that way. Moving on to the tech class. I love this tech class for relics. Your Hulkbuster is an incredible relic. It's really good for your armors and your shocks and your power drain. So why do I have it in Starkey? Well, he shocks and he power drains. So when if inflicted a shock ability debuff, increasing the potency of shock effects by 5.49% for 12 seconds. That's crazy. That's really good, especially for Starkey's SP2. This is the relic for Stark Spider-Man. And also, when the opponent has been inflicted with a total of 10 shock effects, inflict a non-stacking energy vulnerability passive, lowering energy resistance by negative 280% or 80 for 15 seconds. That is really, really good. That is specifically good for champions that have a high shock. So your Red Skulls, your Fury, etc. And then while you have +3+ shock effects on the opponent, inflict a suppressant passive, lowering combat power rate. That's really good. Or your next shock debuff has increased duration and increased potency. That's really good. I'm actually going to switch that to that right now because of that. This is unstoppable buffs or shock buffs. So this is if you're running Red Skull. This is what I'm using for Stark Spider-Man. Armor up. And this one, these are both for Red Skull. But I'm doing the armor up one just because, I mean, whatever. It's not really benefiting me at all. But this relic's really good for Red Skull. Who you'd want to use for Red Skull as well. So Red Skull, Shuri, even Hulkbuster himself. It's not the best for Hulkbuster though, in my experience. And then Stark Spider-Man. Those are like the 4 champions you want to use this relic for. So that's that. The Sentinel relic. It's very good. It's actually really good for Sentinel now that he's a 7-star. You should use that. The final hit inflicts a 13.8% incinerate vulnerability passive. I like that because my boy over here, Prowler, has an incinerate on his heavy when they have 0 power. Inflicting an incinerate debuff while the opponent is already incinerated grants a 0.8 spirit gauge. Now this is really good for Sentinel specifically. This is also going to be good for Omega Sentinel. Who else is this going to be good for in the tech class? Your Captain America Infinity War. Your Ironheart. It's going to be really good for Ironheart. Any of your incineration. This is good for all of your incineration techs. But keep in mind how the last Hulkbuster was good for shocks. This Sentinel is good for incinerate. And these are just increased. The runes are just increased incineration stuff. Do what you see fit. Both of those champions were specifically shock and incinerate. But when we move to Green Goblin, why I like this champion is because I don't really like this champion because of the awakened ability or the innate ability. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fine, but it's really meant for champions that just aren't good in this game. And who's playing Green Goblin, who's playing Dr. Octopus, and who's playing Vulture? I hope all the champions get more love in the future. Dr. Octopus was cool. He's not a 7-star though. Like, all 3 of these champions are not 7 stars. If they become out, then this relic's going to be incredible. But this relic is really good for these reasons right here. Your debuff, ability, accuracy, duration. I mean, that's so good. And also, I have this on Hulkbuster because attacks at power drain the opponent, fill the spirit gauge by 2.12%, so you can start cycling stuff because, you know, Hulkbuster's SP2 drains power. Opponent's special attacks down, so that's good. Or this is amazing. I mean, I'm going to put this up on right now. Damaging debuff potency up. Damaging debuff potency. It doesn't say incinerate. It doesn't say cold snap. It doesn't say shock. It's damaging debuff. That is so good. And regeneration 8 up. That's good for Hulkbuster. Again, that benefits his ability specifically. This one too. I mean, it's whatever. But you have these ones: power drain opponent, weakness. Yeah, but this one right here, having your damage debuff potency up, it's good for all the champions that do damage over time. So yeah, that's why I have there. Again, Green Goblin is good for all the champions I listed before. He could be put on any of them, but specifically you want to use him now on Jack-o'-lantern. You want to use him on Hulkbuster. You can use him on the Omega Sentinel if you'd like to. He's really good. Regeneration effect, so he's good on Iron Man. He'd be good on Ironheart. He's actually really good on Ironheart. And I'm sure I'm missing some, but I want to get at least 4 for each of these relics. The top options. Moving on to the Vision Relic. This is a heal block relic, but you get some cool effects with it. It takes a smother debuff whenever the smothered opponent heals, while heal block deal a burst of energy damage. And then when the opponent has been prevented from healing a percentage of their max health due to heal block effects, inflict indefinite torment passive, increasing the duration of damaging effect. So, I mean, the innate ability and the awakened ability here directly benefit Omega Sentinel, directly benefit Red Skull. Like, both those champions have a really accessible heal block. Obviously, it benefits, I believe, Vision, right? Like Vision, Age of Ultron, he has a heal block. So, even OG Vision, I think. Although I haven't played him in so long. I did just get the 7-star, so hopefully we'll be ranking him up. I do want to do that and make a video on all the rare champions, especially OG Vision, because I have him awakened, and I think that's kind of interesting. But, yeah. Omega Sentinel, Red Skull, and any of your other heal blockers, which I know there is. There used to be so many, but now they're just not relevant. So at the current state of the game, it's really Omega Sentinel and Red Skull who are going to do the most work for you with this relic. Again, the runes are just stat buffers for this one. And we're moving on to the final class here. We're coming up on a 40-minute video. Crazy. Juggernaut. This this relic is incredible for Juggernaut and any unstoppable mystic. So you got Dragon Man, Mangog, Juggernaut, Sasquatch. This relic is really good for Destroyer. I'm not going to go into Super Death because it's literally just unstoppable, and then you gain some effects. You get attack rating while unstoppable, and then you get health modifiers here. It's a simple relic, very simple but very powerful. Makes Juggernaut extremely good and makes your other unstoppable mystics really good. This is probably one of the better mystic relics, but it's really only good for heavy attackers, so you want to put this on your long shot. And your America Chavez is a really good relic for America Chavez. She does a ton of damage during her heavy attacks, and you have to heavy attack a ton. The first hit inflicts a 9-second ineptitude passive, reducing potency of new fury, armor, precision, and cruelty buffs. So, that's good, because you want less potency from them with America Chavez, but you also want them to keep having them. So you don't want to nullify them, you want them to have the buff, because you do more damage when they have buffs, so that synergizes well with America Chavez. Landing the first hit of heavy attack, it deals 840 energy damage, and on offensive burst champions, trigger this additional time for each buff on the opponent. America Chavez. So, opponents getting a buff, grant Dormant Fury passive, plus attack rating on a heavy attack, buff potency down. That's good. That relic was made for America Chavez. Makes her so much better. It's so good. This relic, it's good, but it's really good for power gain and mystics who gain bars of power quickly, and mystics who gain power without touching the opponent. So, I mean, it's really good for Doctor Strange, but he's not available anymore. It's really good for your Symbiote Supreme, and recently, it's the best, in my opinion, for Shathra, because here, that awakened ability, and you have to have it awakened for this to work. Gaining a bar of power while not attacking or being attacked increases hit damage of special attacks by 198.92, max stacks 10. Rising Power Champions increase the potency of this ability by 100%. I believe Shathra is a Rising Power. So, you know how you do a Threat Special 1, and then you steal the power, you gain 2 bars of power super fast, and then you throw that unblockable special. Well, you're doing increased attack damage because of this relic. There you go. You get health modifiers here, regeneration. Guess who also has regeneration? Yeah, activating a blessing ability grants a rejuvenation passive, increasing regeneration rate. Your girl Shathra has regeneration. Special attack damage up. That's good. You could also do armor break, but I don't have that because Shathra doesn't do that. Special hit ability accuracy up. Ability accuracy on special hits. That's really good for Shathra because of her swarm and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I use this for Shathra. You should use this for Shathra. Or if you have Symbiote Supreme, use it on Symbiote Supreme. Or if you still use Doctor Strange, please buff him. Use it on there. The Ghost Rider relic, it's for the Ghost Riders. OG Ghost Rider and Kushala. That's what it's meant for. Don't use it on anyone else, please. The final hit inflicts a 4.71 degeneration vulnerability debuff for 12 seconds. This is very good for both the OG and Kushala, and any mystics that degen, but who cares about any of the other ones that degen. The next degeneration effect gains per certain amount of potency and inflicts more degeneration vulnerability. Like it's saying here, actually, interesting point that I wasn't going to think about, but now that I'm seeing it here, Purgatory just came out, and this would be an incredible relic for her. It synergizes perfectly. It even has a bonus ability for her. And she was one of the gifted Guardians champions, so if you pulled her, if you awakened her, which I did, but I haven't ranked her up, we'll put this relic on her. But if you're not, just keep it on your Kushala. Or if you're using Ebony Maw in this current meta, as of the point of filming this video, we are currently in the Power Shield meta. So yeah, that is the relic for that. And then you have some additional degeneration stuff. You have a Vicious, which inflicts more degeneration. And then Stagger, which is good as well. That is if you're using like the Deathless Guillotine. Oh yeah, this is also really good for Deathless Guillotine, because Deathless Guillotine, what does she do? Degenerate and Stagger. So this relic is designed for Deathless Guillotine, Kushala, OG Ghost Rider, Purgatory, Mojo, and Ebony Maw. Those are your champions you want to use this one for. And guess what, guys? That concludes my guide to relics. I'm sorry if I was a little all over the place, but I hope that it was good for you. I covered the meta champions for each relic. There's a lot of champions in this game. Use based on the knowledge that I've shared with you and your own knowledge of reading through the relics. I highly encourage you to go add your relics to your champions and experience that increased power. Also, just read through your relic. Whenever you pull a 6-star relic, there's not that many. What is there? 6 classes, 4 relics in each class. I mean, what is that? Freaking 24 relics? That's nothing. I mean, granted there is more, but you only have to read the abilities once. The most ability reading is on the 6-star. That's what you should start with if you have it. Next time you pull a 6-star relic, read through the abilities, understand it a little more for yourself, and attach it to the champion that makes the most sense. Those are just bonus stats just handed to you, and I feel like a lot of people don't utilize it to the best of their ability. They're just like, oh, I'm just going to put a relic on a champion, move forward, whatever. No. Use the abilities. Highly recommend it. Anyways, this has been a super long video. If you've made it all the way through, comment below what your favorite relic is. That's how I know you really watched the video. Let me know your thoughts. Sorry again if I've rambled. Make sure to share, subscribe, like, whatever you do out there in the YouTube world. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. I will answer all the questions you need. You can add me on Discord, Minno's Minute here. It's been on the video the whole time. And yeah, it's been a video a long time coming. It's not really going to be edited because I just needed to talk about it and kind of word vomit everything out there. I have been Minno's Minute, and we've done this for 46 minutes. So it has not been a Minno's Minute, but I am Minno's Minute. Also known as Chief Trash Can to some. Intro and outro are done by me with music by the talented Sherbons, which is the reason why I said that. Not giving myself a shout out. What I meant to say is Sherbons is the one who did the intros and outros for the music part of it. So thank you to him. I always gave him a shout out. Anyways, cheers. I've been Minno's Minute. Have a solid time equipping all your relics.